Hey Warpugs, so this is a request from Xenozilla, also known as Alfarius on the Discord, and I haven't really seen anything quite like this before, with the exception of probably Burial Grounds and of course Vox in the Void, who does excellent voice work. This is DQVO reading the Devastation of Baal when Dante met Guilliman. So, to be honest with you, I have not heard much voice acting outside of like Audible books, things of that nature. I really am a fan of it though. It can, the proper voice acting can make or break a story. Some people don't like audiobooks because it takes away, like they say, it takes away from the imagination of how a character would sound, things like that. But I would challenge anybody to find me a better voice actor when it comes to 40k than Jonathan Keeble when it comes to voicing Grimaldus. I'm just saying, it's some of the best stuff you've ever heard. You don't need to look any further. Also, I honestly 100% believe that it actually helps the imaginative process because, like, you have, I guess, a framework to put behind someone. And it can really heighten the experience as far as like understanding, listening to a story. The best thing for that is, you know, I'd guess the My Soldier's Rage voice acting, the English voice actor. I don't normally like English dubbed over animes, things like that, but that is one of the most amazing voice acted bits that I've heard in quite a while. I'm not even in that universe and I wanted to go do some stuff. But today we're looking at Dante meeting Guilliman. Now Dante just wants to die, man. He's been around for too long. He just wants to go. DQVO, all of his links are going to be in the description down below. Please check him out after this. If you have not heard him before, I got a feeling I'm going to be seeing a lot more of this. Let's get into it.
Rebute Guilliman had come to Baal. There was no mistaking it. Dante had seen the Primarch before, shut away in a stasis field in the fortress of Hera on Macragge, where he had sat a second from death for most of the Imperium's history. But here he was, alive and breathing. The Primarch's physical presence hit Dante hard. Guilliman was nobility writ large, a monument in flesh. He was overwhelming. Ignoring the hurts of his healing wounds, Dante fell to his knees with a clatter and dropped his head. Can it really be true? Is it you? Do you live? The Primarch stood and set his sword aside and came down the steps. Get up, Dante, said Guilliman gently. I will not accept displays of humility from a man like you. You are one of the few in this era who have earned the right to speak to me on equal terms. Rise, now. Dante grunted with pain as he attempted to get to his feet. Guilliman grasped Dante's pauldrons and bodily hauled the chapter master up. Forgive the indignity, Guilliman said. I see that you are hurt. Dante nodded humbly. Never kneel before me again.
Yeah.
I will have you stand with me as a mark of respect. I will order you not to, if I must. I would rather our relationship not function on those terms. I have no time for deference. There is much to do. Though if your pains are great, you may of course sit, he said with the ghost of a smile. Is this a dream of a vision? Neither. I live. I have returned to save the Imperium, said Guilliman. Forgive me, my lord, Dante has to step back to look him in the eye. I failed. I called all the chapters of the blood and lost them all to save Baal. The Arx Angelicum is in ruins. Thousands of Space Marines are dead. And Baal is devastated. Forgive, said Guilliman. There is nothing to forgive, Dante. You stopped them. When we arrived, the Hive fleet was greatly depleted and easily destroyed. As we speak, the Indomitus Crusade is scouring the system of the last remnants of the Tyranids. You have achieved what few others have and destroyed a major Hive fleet tendril. I would congratulate you, but there is nothing I can say that encompasses the scale of what you have achieved. Guilliman put a hand on Dante's shoulder. You have saved Baal from the hive mind, Commander Dante, and with it, the greater part of this segmentum. At that, Dante wept freely. I am sorry. I am sorry, he said. I almost lost everything. Please forgive me. There is nothing to forgive. Dante did not hear. Overwhelmed by his hurts and the luminous presence of a living Primarch, he collapsed to the ground.
Guilliman was not incorrect about what Dante had achieved there, what Dante had done. And even though yes, most of the Blood Angels and the successor chapters were annihilated, it was something that, quite honestly, if Baal, there are certain major systems for the Imperium. Now, there's a million worlds in the Imperium, but there are certain major systems that, were they to fall, it would be a heavy, heavy blow. Baal is one of those systems. Cadia was one of those systems. Then you have other systems like Ophelius. You have Krieg, of course. You have name a system in Segmentum Solar that right now the Imperium could reasonably afford to lose. It's the reason they expended so much resources to defend Armageddon when the technical third war for Armageddon happened. And that reason is just simply put, the Imperium can't afford to lose some of these systems. It's not like it's not like when you defended, like when you assaulted Kronos in like Dawn of War. That is inconsequential in the greater scheme of things. Yes, a world is a world. But when you look at maps of the Imperium, there are certain planets that just stand out. There are certain planets that just are completely built different. Any of the original Legion's home worlds, any of them, would be a devastating loss to the Imperium. So when you take all that into effect, there have been a few worlds that have come under assault that belong to the original Legions. Medusa, of course. You also have Macragge during the first Tyrannic War. Baal. Oh my god. On and on and on and on. Some of these worlds are more symbolic in their importance than, like, strategic. But that doesn't stop them from being, huge centers of morale. When Cadia was lost, it was only the defiance of the Cadians that kept it from being, so morale crushing that it was just completely over at that point. Also, the resurrection of Guilliman had a lot to do with the Imperium bouncing back from the loss of Cadia. There is so much to say about the Devastation of Baal as a series, but I would just recommend that you read it. And to be quite honest with you, I am hoping and praying to be able to start reading books again. I've been so busy recently, I haven't been able to, read anything. And I'm hoping that changes soon because, my God, I need to. It would be so nice to be able to sit down and read a book again. Because my book collection, after the move to Reno, actually before then, I had to make a choice. I can fit everything into a Dodge Stratus, or I don't go anywhere, and I continue having problems where I was at. So a lot of things went by the wayside. That's when I sold the Sisters of Battle set, because I had a nice carrying case for that. But it was that, or literally a dozen other things that were vitally more important. There was a time I almost lived out of a 2004 Dodge Stratus. I mean, that's just the way it was. But all my books, I'm hoping to restart a collection. That would be nice. I'd love to start collecting, because I've already got the entire Horus Heresy on audiobook. I'd love to start recollecting codexes, things of that nature. I might even start doing that, seeing if there's anything cheap on Amazon. And I've been wanting to get bookshelves there and there to start collecting these things. Just to have them again, you know what I mean? War Pugs, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to shut completely up. I'm going to head out from here. Check the links in the description down below for DQVO. Did an excellent job with this. An amazing job with this. I'd love to know his microphone and his audio setup, because I've been wanting to. My lore videos, I use the Samsung G-Track, which is great. Don't get me wrong for what I do here and stuff like that, but I'd like to see if I can get a better microphone. His sounds so good. Baltimore uses the same microphone I do. He just gets much different results. And speaking of which, I am just waiting for news about Voldemort's channel to see. We need that guy back. War Pugs, I'm gonna head out from here. Be sure to check all the links in the description for DQVO, oh my God, and I will see you guys next time.